Good evening, campers, it's me, Kieran. Today we are going to talk about Demon Copperhead. Now, if you've been anywhere online where people talk about books, Demon Copperhead has been lauded, applauded, hands in the air, waving like you just don't care. Everybody and their one-legged ant have loved and swooned over Demon Copperhead. Even people who have no souls, and those people being literary judges, have awarded Barbara Kingsolver not only the Women's Prize, but also the prestigious Pulitzer. But why? I don't know, maybe they relate to Demon Copperhead because he's ginger and therefore, like them, don't have a soul. Own voices representation, I'm living my truth. Now, a lot of people have asked me for my opinion on Demon Copperhead, and I think that's for three reasons. The first one, I'm a little bit of a contrarian. I don't think we need to gloss over that fact. The second reason could be that this is a Dickensian retelling. I notoriously do not like the Victorians. I postulate that the third reason is that this has been celebrated by so many people. So let's tackle those in reverse order. In relation to people absolutely loving this and that Barbara Kingsolver has been awarded many of awards, we have to address something here, and that is reading something before anything has won awards is normally quite valedictory, seems to be the word that I'm most comfortable to lean towards. Reading a book and seeing its momentum take off is very different to the situation where I'm at, where the momentum has already happened, and now I'm going to read it almost looking for where this momentum has gained traction. I'll address this and finish that point later, but let's talk about the Victorian retelling. This is a retelling of David Copperfield, and I've not read David Copperfield. I don't think you need to know much about David Copperfield. In fact, all I know about David Copperfield is that David Copperfield is born into nothing, and at the end becomes something. That's pretty much all you need to know, right? And therefore, for this review, I'm not going to be mentioning any references to David Copperfield because I would just be pulling them out by rectum. And that leads me into the first point, that I'm a little bit of a contrarian, and allows me to finish my third point. And that is David Copperfield. Now that all the hype has happened, now that I've read it, trying to see what on earth people have been raving about Demon Copperhead for months on end, I have to say, this is an okay book. Take that as you will, but this is a well-structured book, and the voice of Damon, known as Demon Copperhead, is witty, charismatic, and the fact that he is reflecting on his life is able to position cliffhangers, or at least make malleable foreshadowing, to really increase the sense of dread and knowing what is to happen to Demon and others. To give an example, when Demon Copperhead's mum dies from an Oxycontin overdose, we are given, to paraphrase, the statement that he didn't even know what Oxy was. But we know throughout this that Oxycontin is going to affect his life. It's going to affect it in a very drastic way. But Kingsolver, throughout Demon's childhood, builds that tension. Not only do we see the tumultuous relationship with his stepfather, but once he is orphaned, once he moves into the foster system, we see Demon deal with a situation that not many people could imagine. Now, bear in mind, Kingsolver has to build up this tension so that we build sympathy. But here is the flaw of this narrative technique of Demon related his own story. What's being built up is also being released. We know that he has overcome. We know that he has survived his situation. And therefore, leaves you in a state of, but I know everything's going to be fine. To put it candidly, Demon Copperhead is constructed to make you like Demon Copperhead. And as he is the hero of our story, you kind of want that, don't you? For a modern retelling of a Victorian novel, is that exactly what we want? Look, I know I said I wasn't going to pull anything out of my rectum, but we've all done it. We've all been there. Allow me to now. Of the Victorian novels that I have read, the good guys are very good and the bad guys are very bad. If we take a character from another of Dickens' books, Ebenezer Scrooge, he is notoriously bad and through the story becomes notoriously good. Now, if we look at another modern interpretation of the Dickensian novel that also won the Pulitzer, that being Donna Tartt's The Goldfinch, we're not really meant to like Theodore Decker. And while we begin to root for Theodore in smuggling the painting of the Goldfinch across America, we begin to realise by the end that there's nothing to like about Theodore. There is nothing that we should be rooting for. Kingsolver does not allow you to do that with Demon Copperhead. You are meant to like him, and that's because Kingsolver doesn't really give the reader any room to think about these situations. Though I'm being somewhat hyperbolic here, there's no room to speculate what Kingsolver thinks. She's very on the nose and very direct. I'm not sure that's what readers want when it comes to a modern hero, because what does a hero look in the modern age? Interestingly, could Demon Copperhead himself even be considered a hero when everything heroic about American society is distancing and rejecting the idea of small-town Demon Copperhead? Now, the one parallel that I would like to make in regards to Demon Copperhead, and I'm surprised not many other people have said this, is that he reminds me of Jesse from Breaking Bad. However, why I think Breaking Bad succeeds and where Demon Copperhead is more of a safe route is that Jesse, similar to what I said before, you are not meant to like him. Everything that Jesse does within Breaking Bad is categorically the worst thing you can do. He's a criminal at heart, but he does these things to better himself. He does these things because he needs to get out of the life that he can't escape. Let's not talk about El Camino. I don't want to talk about it. It was awful. But I think Jesse succeeds. And the reason why Jesse is such a pivotal character and one that people root for is because he does everything against the book. He is the hero of Breaking Bad, even though Walter White would love it to be him. Demon Copperhead just feels safe sometimes. And what doesn't help this safeness is that King Sola relies on stereotype. There are certain things that happen here that could only happen in an American novel. I don't think it's a parody and I don't think it's a pastiche, but it sounds like that character out of like American football films. And it's like, Johnny Appleby, he would have gone far in American football. But ever since his knee blew out after that one shot, life just got him down. Feels very, not manipulative, but it feels as though it's the only way Barbara Kingsolver can tell this story. He has to come from a broken home. He has to have an abusive stepdad. He has to be downtrodden by the system. And because Kingsolver has made this executive decision, it means that this narrative sometimes feels a little bit forlorn. Additionally, with Demon Copperhead and the way that he is narrating this story, we move past moments very quickly. We don't really discuss issues and topics at length, but in the way that this is structured, it would feel weird to then do that. But I felt myself flicking through pages thinking, okay, so when does he survive this story? When are we going to get there? Is reading over 500 pages of that worthwhile? Well, I have to say, the ending of Demon Copperhead is solid. It's balanced, it's fair. I don't think I could have asked for a better ending. I think Kingsolver really wraps this up in the best way that she can. And again, it's okay. I'm not raving about it. I'm not disappointed that I read it. And therefore, I'm going to give Demon Copperhead a 6 out of 10.